Another secondary color correction method is to select the color in a clip and desaturate everything in that clip except for that color to turn everything else to grayscale but retaining that one color. And you do that using the leave color effect. And one other thing you can do with a clip is to tint the clip. Now, tinting a clip is technically not a secondary color process, but I want to include that here because that's the one last effect that I talked about in my group of effects that I recommend you work with here, and it does talk about color. So to see how to work with these two different effects, go to Working Files, go to Premiere Pro Projects, and open up Leave Color Tint. We're going to select the color in this bowl of fruit and leave that color behind while we desaturate everything else. We're also going to select a couple of shirts here to leave those colors behind. Now down the line here, we're going to apply a tint to this old photograph, a sepia tone, and also apply a tint to this clip here. Let's go back to the beginning here. I'm going to apply the leave color effect to this fruit bowl. Go to Effects, Video Effects, Color Correction, and then Leave Color. Double click on that to apply it to the bowl. Go back to Effect Controls, and there it is. It looks similar to the effects we worked with where we were selecting a color and changing the color. Here we're going to select the color and leave it behind. So let me expand the view here a bit. Use the eyedropper tool to select the color we want to retain. So I'm going to go for the lemon here, and it won't work that well because the lemon and the oranges are very close together in terms of their color, their hue. Hold down the controller command to get a good sample, grab that. And nothing happens yet because we need to desaturate the things that are not selected. So we go down to Amount to Decolor, pull it to the right. Things go away, but notice the oranges stay behind there. We don't quite get rid of them. We can adjust the tolerance to try to reduce the tolerance so we don't include the oranges, but that'll be difficult to accomplish. Let's slide this to the left. We still have some orange left behind. If I want to click on the eyedropper tool, I can try again and maybe grab down here instead. That might work a little bit better. Nope. One more time, maybe toward this area there. But again, we have some of the lemon that does desaturate. Sometimes using hue instead of RGB works better, so I'm going to switch the match colors down here to hue. Now we need to change the tolerance to reduce it because hue is more sensitive, and that works quite a bit better. But notice there's just a little bit of desaturation down there, but that's pretty good. Blue will work a lot better because it's pretty much distinctively different than the rest of the colors here. So let's change to blue. Click on the eyedropper. Click on a representative sample of blue, and boom, right off the bat. Very easy to do that with a distinctive color like blue. Let's go on down the line here to the women on the bench. Slide this over a bit, select them, and go get the leave color effect, apply it to them. And go back to Effect Controls. Let's work on the purple shirt there first. Click on the eyedropper tool, find a representative sample there, Controller Command key, click. Now we need to decolor the rest. You'll see that it works pretty well. But at some point we're going to leave a little bit of that orange shirt on the left behind. And that's pretty good. I see a little bit of desaturation down there. It's hard to get it exactly right. Let's change to hue instead. That'll be overdone. We need to reduce it a bit. Right about there. You can always try out a different sample. I'll go down here a little bit more. And you see how that works. Now the thing is, that purple is not really all that distinct. It'd be nice if we could kind of enhance the purple a bit. We can do that with a fast color corrector, for example. So go to Effects, add the fast color corrector to this clip by just double clicking on it. Go back over here. Let's just close this down for a second. Now the fast color corrector is now being applied after leave color. So if I change this, let's say, and pull it toward purple, toward the shirt color, I'm going to tint the entire clip purple, which is not what I want to do. I want to make the shirt more purple in advance before I select the color. So I pull fast color corrector above leave color, and that'll enhance the purple shirt. So I'll go back here to leave color, and we'll try this selection again. Notice how bright everything is now. Maybe I could make the color even brighter. Let's go back here and try it a little bit more here. Pull toward purple more just to make it really obvious. And now we'll go back to leave color. Click on this little eyedropper and hover over a shirt like that. Take a sample. And that makes the purple more dramatic. And we can leave more things behind here. Now you see we see purple showing up elsewhere. We can easily fix that with a track matte key if you want to try something like that. And we can also adjust the tolerance. You can use the leave color with a track matte key if you need to. Just isolate something and it's not quite working for the whole clip. Let's try a different shirt color here. I want to click on her shirt, but before I do that, I want to enhance the color here first. So I'm going to turn off leave color for a moment. Go down to the fast color corrector and pull the color toward her shirt color, which is more like this, I think. Which is really overdoing a lot of the clip, but that's okay. We want to just enhance the shirt color here. Close down fast color corrector, click on leave color, get the eyedropper tool and hover on her shirt. Hold on controller command and get that sample. And right off the bat, you can see we selected the shirt pretty well there. Let's increase the amount to decolor. Maybe decrease the tolerance a bit to just emphasize the shirt. Pretty easy to select that shirt because it's such a distinct color. We do have a little bit of lipstick showing up here, which we can again cut off with a track matte key. Let's go on down to this portrait. I want to apply a sepia tone to this. We use the tint effect to do that. Go to effects, and tint is also inside color correction. Double click on it to apply it. Take a look at it. What tint does is that it takes anything that's black and turns it into a color of your selection, and takes anything that's white and turns it into a color of your selection. The downside of the tint is that it reduces contrast. It takes something that's black and gives it a color, which then makes it less black, if you want to think of it that way. It takes something that's white and gives it a color, which makes it less bright, so you reduce the contrast, you reduce the tonality range here. But we can kind of adjust that using LumaCurve. So in fact, let's apply LumaCurve to this clip now to give it a full range of contrast before we work with tint. So I'm going to turn tint off for now, and go get the LumaCurve effect. It too is inside color correction. Double click on LumaCurve to apply it. Back here. I want to bring down the blacks, lift up the highlights. Pull the blacks down to about 0 IRE there. Lift the highlights up to about 100 IRE. Now we have a full range of tonality there. And now let's apply the tint and see what happens. Turn on tint. Right now it's mapping white to white and black to black, which is fine, but we're going to change that. I'm going to map black to a color, so I need to click on the swatch here. I want it to be sepia, so I go up here to something like sepia and find the dark end of sepia right there. Click OK. Right away you see the difference there. Click on the white to a color, click on that swatch. And again, we want something that's sepia oriented. So I'll click down here, it might be a little too yellow. Click down there at the light end. OK there. And that's kind of a sepia look. I mean, it may not be exactly what you think of as sepia, but I'm just kind of quickly clicking on things here. But now you look at the tonality range, and it goes from about 15 to about 60 or something like that, which is not exactly a full range of tonality. So you can adjust it again with LumaCurve down here. If you run into the limit around 95, there you go. At least we've adjusted the tonality here to give it more contrast again to compensate for what our tint just did. Now notice if I put LumaCurve above tint, what happens? It gets squashed down there. So you want to apply LumaCurve after tint, meaning it's the last thing that's applied. That works better, I think. All right, let's go on down to this last clip here. I want to apply just the tint to this clip. So I go to Effects and double click on Tint. And now it automatically makes it black and white because it takes anything that's black on the scene and makes it black. Anything that's white makes it white. Go to Effect Controls. Here I can pick some colors out of the scene, for example, rather than just finding a color on the swatch. I'll map black to something really dark here, like right there, for example. I'll map white to something really bright, for example, like that. And that applies a tint. But you know, it works a whole lot better when you're working with tints, especially with color like this, if you put it on an adjustment layer above the clip. It gives you more control. So I'm going to go over here to the project panel, click on the new item icon there, add an adjustment layer, take the default settings, apply the adjustment layer above this clip. I'll right click on tint, cut it, and click on the adjustment layer, and right click here, say paste. Now we've applied that same tint there, but we can adjust it a little bit more. I can go up to opacity, and I can reduce the amount of tint that I've applied. I can also change the blending mode, let's say to something like hue. I can also change the colors as well, but I think it's much better when you're working with tints, particularly over a color clip, put it on an adjustment layer where you have much more control over how you apply it. So that's how you use the leave color effect and the tint effect.